Donald Trump confusedly said that we need open borders in a stunningly disoriented orange rant yesterday at the White House. I don't know how to describe this other than wacky, deranged stuff. Here is Trump, doesn't even seem to know what he's saying we need open borders. Take a listen to this.
There can be permanent tariffs, and there can also be negotiations, because there are things that we need beyond tariffs. We need open borders. We almost had a deal with China where we're going to open up China. It was almost done. Some of you remember it during my first term.
Now, of course, I can only assume Trump doesn't mean that we need open borders from the standpoint of immigration. I think he's saying in terms of trade, but then, of course, he's doing the protectionism that limits that, or maybe he's saying the desirable endpoint to these tariffs would be to reopening trade, or who the hell knows? Maybe he is saying we need open borders with regard to the movement of people, which, by the way, 2 days ago is what Elon Musk said in a notable departure from the Trump administration's perspective on immigration. It's all just mayonnaise up there. I don't know that there's anything serious up there other than mayonnaise. Trump then again pulls out this idea that the country did best during a period where we had big tariffs, strong tariffs, and no income tax. Take a look.
We're setting a table, and we're going to have great trade, and we're going to have a very strong country. Our country is going to be at a level that has maybe never been, or maybe, our country was the strongest, believe it or not, from 1870 to 1913. You know why? It was all tariff-based. We had no income tax. Then in 1913, some genius came up with the idea of let's charge the people of our country, not foreign countries that are ripping off our country. And the country was never that kind of wealth. We had so much wealth, we didn't know what to do with our money. We had meetings, we had committees, and these committees worked tirelessly to study one subject. We have so much money. What are we going to do with it? Who are we going to give it to?
What Trump, of course, never mentions when he talks about this dream era leading up to 1913 when the income tax was enacted. Number one, the idea of funding a government through tariffs rather than income taxes is overt class war. Okay, it would be such a massive tax cut for the rich at the expense of the working class proportionately. But forget about if we did it in 2025. Go back to the time that Trump is talking about. We had almost none of the federal government services and activities that we have today. Now, I know many right-wingers say we want the government doing less, but really understand what you're talking about when you talk about no social security, no highways, it's a long laundry list of things. If they are serious about saying, let's get rid of the income tax, let's bring the federal government back to what it was between 1870 and 1913. Now, in a modern global economy, we would be like what Trump calls the banana republics. It's not a term I use, okay, but we might talk about developing nations. We would be taking the United States if we said get rid of the income tax, but get rid of everything we pay for through the income tax and go back to the government that we had in 1899, for example. It would be a global humiliation and a destruction in quality of life, the likes of which we have never seen, probably in any country, but certainly not in the United States. He never mentions that when he does this little rant about a tariff-based economy in the late 1800s rather. Trump sort of disoriented when it comes to the term groceries, still acting like it's not a term he really knew until very recently.
I said we're going to try and get groceries down, right? An old-fashioned term, but a beautiful term.
A beautiful term. There's never been a more beautiful term than groceries. And then Trump asked a substantive question: why no tariffs with Russia? Because you tariffed even islands inhabited only by penguins, but no tariffs on Russia. And here's Trump's explanation.
A little bit about your potential meeting with Vladimir Putin. Do you still plan to meet with him? Could that happen in Saudi Arabia? And maybe you could elaborate as well a little bit on not providing tariffs on Russia, sir.
So The reason we're not talking about tariffs with Russia is because we're not doing business essentially with Russia because they're in a war. And I'm not happy about what's going on with the bombing because they're bombing like crazy right now. They're bombing. I don't know what's happening there. That's not a good situation. So we're meeting with Russia. We're meeting with Ukraine. And we're getting sort of close, but I'm not happy with all the bombing that's going on the last.
So Trump changing the topic, but his argument that there was no need to tariff Russia because we're not doing business with Russia. Trump tariffed plenty of countries with his blanket tariffs that the United States isn't doing business with. So that doesn't work. Trump then sort of suggesting that the Nazis did favors for Jews in concentration camps by like giving them extra little pieces of bread. Listen to this.
The stories they told me, I mean, as an example, I said to them, was there any sign of love? You were there, 10 people. It's only 10, but it's pretty representative. Did the Hamas show any signs of like help or liking you? Did they wink at you? Did they give you a piece of bread extra? Did they give you a meal on the side, like, you know, you think of doing, like what happened in Germany, what happened elsewhere? People.
Everybody in the room is like, what the hell is this guy talking about?
Would try and help people that were in unbelievable distress.
So Trump, I guess, talking about when the Nazis did nice things for the Jews in concentration camps, really wacky stuff. And then finally, nothing like a new war to distract from the economic turmoil. Trump saying, Iran better be careful.
If diplomacy fails, is the United States, under your leadership, ready to take military action to destroy the Iranian nuclear program and remove this threat?
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger. And I hate to say it, great danger, because they can't have a nuclear weapon.
So is that a yes?
You know, it's not a complicated formula. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. That's all there is.
So
Can't have it.
So, of course, the anti-war guy levying additional threats to more countries. You couldn't write this. This would not be believable if you wrote it as a TV show. It would be like, it's too outrageous. Nobody would ever do this stuff or talk this way. And of course, that's exactly what is going on. If you've already purchased my book, The Echo Machine, now a New York Times bestseller, please do remember to review the book on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Goodreads. So important. We are over 600 reviews on Amazon. We really want to get to 1,000. It is the most important thing you can do other than getting the book. And of course, the book is available everywhere that books are sold. I popped into a couple Barnes & Nobles' over the weekend, and some local bookstores I was all over. I would just go bring my copies and go, can I sign these? I'm the author. They put a beautiful signed sticker on it. So all over the Northeast, you may find Easter egg, for lack of a better term, signed copies. But of course, they're available everywhere books are sold. Quick break, back right after this. An important part of my daily routine every morning is a scoop of AG1 to keep my nutritional bases covered for the day. Our sponsor, AG1, couldn't be simpler. One delicious scoop with a glass of water. I get the 75 high-quality vitamins and minerals from whole food sources with a blend of pre- and probiotics for healthy bacteria in the gut, all in a fine powder that your body can absorb. Unlike other supplements that have come and gone in your life, AG1 is a habit that sticks because it's quick, efficient, and easy. You can replace a cabinet of vitamin and supplement bottles with just a scoop of AG1. With science-backed ingredients and real benefits, AG1 makes it easy to support your nutrition and wellness every day. That's why we've been partnered with AG1 for so long. AG1 is offering new customers a free $76 gift when you sign up. You'll get a welcome kit, a bottle of D3K2, and 5 free travel packs in your first box. Just go to drinkag1.com/Pacman. The link is in the description.